Christian for KaijuPub.com, and today we're having a very quick look at Ziggurat on the PlayStation 4. This, I believe, had been out previously for a brief period on Xbox One and PC, and just now coming to the PS4. It is a first-person roguelite. In the vein, actually, of Tower of Guns. It kind of seems unfortunate that the Tower of Guns and this have come out very, very close together and seem to be doing very much the same kind of thing, completely independently of each other, albeit with different styles. So I'm going to jump in here. It's a new game. It's a roguelite, which means when you die, you start over. Roguelite with a T, because there are some things like you unlock extra perks that are persistent. There's a bunch of different characters which each have their own kind of separate ways of unlocking. Let's see, killing a bunch of carrots. We'll see the carrots later on. It's down bottom. This is on easy. I'm playing on easy because fuck you. I can get to the end on easy, and although I haven't beaten the game yet, I cannot do it on normal. It's bloody hard, really hard if playing on normal, mainly because of just the balance of the damage and what have you. I'm not going to go with this guy. I'm going to go with the normal all-rounder here, and it's low adding. I've challenged the Ziggurat 10 times, you can see that. So yes, where Tower of Guns, if you've seen the coverage we've done on Kaiju Pop for Tower of Guns, which I quite liked, and this differs, that Tower of Guns was kind of modelled on gun-based first-person shooters, things like Serious Sam. It was very Serious Sammy was Tower of Guns. And this is kind of a little bit more like Hexen. If you remember back to Hexen, it's a little bit like that. So a lot of kind of wands and magic and that kind of thing. Rather than ammo, I've got mana, and I'm collecting XP there. It's a lot like Tower of Guns did. You kill a guy, use XP drops, and you get that. And they've got other drops, loot and treasure and whatnot, and you want to get all of those. Lovely. So the basic bog standard magic wand I have here has, for this character, has 50 mana, and that recharges. But the other weapons don't recharge. I've got one at the moment. You want to connect that at each door, at each on each floor of the dungeon, I should say, because that unlocks the boss, or it lets you summon the boss to the boss room, and then you fight him, and then you get to the next floor and kill these slimes here. It's kind of, yeah, I think a little bit unbalanced difficulty-wise, in that easy is very easy. The one time I have played on easy, like, I got pretty handily right to the end of the game, and then I died on the final boss just because I hadn't managed my health particularly well. But normal is really hard. Like, I can barely get to the second floor on normal, but I can get right up to the end on easy, so it's a little bit, I don't know, ill-balanced. So maybe I'm just rubbish, you never know. So yeah, you get through there. I mean, another thing as well that perhaps this, kind of is a bit lacking as compared to something like Tower of Guns. Oh, I just leveled up, so I'm going to hit square. We can choose a new perk even. Every time I level up, you encounter treasure rooms more frequently, or mana gems give you more magic energy. Well, let's go with you. Some of those perks can be leveled up, so you saw the mana gems give you more energy. That can be leveled up perk. But the perks are only, once you've unlocked a new perk, then you'll be able to choose that potentially. That might be in the sort of deck of perks, I suppose, that you draw from. But the perks are only consistent for one playthrough, because every time you start a new game, you start again from level 1. You go through here. Oh, treasure room. So yes, here's where you sort of unlock new perks is with treasure rooms, although sometimes here that's kind of crap. It's really kind of crap, because all it did was give me a couple of health potions, which I don't need, and then spawn a bunch of minions. Great. Yeah, I mean, one thing where this is a bit lacking as compared to Tower of Guns is that it seems to be drawing from a smaller pool of rooms, in that you'll see the same room an awful lot, basically, in its sort of random generation. Once anywhere. Oh, there it is. Okay. I like that feature because a lot of the time you have to kill all the minions on a minion room before you're able to leave, and sometimes it can be really hard to find that last guy, so that's cool. So I'm just about to get to the boss here, so I'm going to switch to my crossbow to do more damage. And it's this dude. Yeah, quite a small pool of bosses as well. You know, I've seen this guy kind of over and over again. But you can kind of see what the game's going for in terms of its humor and that kind of thing. You know, they're both kind of, hey, not taking themselves too seriously, zany first-person shooters. But where Tower of Guns sort of derived its humor from having just ridiculous fights against ridiculously sized guns, here it derives its humor from, oh hey, we're gonna have fun with sort of D&D style tropes and have crazy monsters like mutant carrots to attack you. All these gems could be more expensive, so I'm gonna have that one, Spell Collector. So yeah, and you go through that kind of crappy looking portal and you head to the next world. I think as well, the rooms themselves, Tower of Guns had a lot of kind of verticality to the spaces, and they were interesting spaces in and of themselves. Tower of Guns is very much kind of dungeon crawler kind of thing. So you might have kind of danger rooms which are kind of more like obstacle courses, which are more interesting. But a lot of these sort of flat brown places, and it doesn't change the look up on any given run. Here's a zany flamingo. But in a way, I kind of like the aesthetic to it because it's cheap in a Harryhausen kind of sense, or in Nightmare kind of a way, if you grew up in the 80s and watched Nightmare. So yeah, I mean, it's quite possibly divisive, but I kind of like the look of the game. That's gonna pop. What do I have here? What's this? Charged amulet recovers part of your mana reserves when used. Okay, that's good. So yes, that's a special item that I can hit on circle, and there's a cooldown attributed to that. I can dash, I can run, and things like that. It's a little bit, I think, smoother than Tower of Guns, and like, it seems mean to just like directly compare the two, because they are, it's not, obviously the fact that they came out so close together indicates that there was no influence of one on the other. I mean, they've just kind of done the same thing independently of one another. But I think like that's the unfortunate thing in that if, you know, these two things that have come out very, very close to one another, you're likely going to like the one you played first. And I think in actual fact, I mean, both these games are out on Xbox One, and I might be wrong, but I think on Xbox One this came out first, and on PS4 Tower of Guns came out first. And because Tower of Guns is free, you can see there's a very heavy auto aim. So that's you can turn the auto aim off. So that's good for crap players like me. You get a new perk here. That's quite a handy one. Get that, blah blah blah, run around. I'm being very, very fast because I don't have too much time to record here. So this is the boss room, but you can see I need the portal key to summon the boss. So thankfully that's marked on my map, which I can touch the touchpad to bring up, so I know where that is. And yeah, you just go through. There's like there's 8 floors, and Sometimes it'll do kind of neat things like this, necromancy effects, which are, I guess, kind of drawn at random to present added challenge to some things, and some of them are quite funny. Like this one, well, this one isn't particularly funny because it means every enemy that I'm killing is respawned once, so that's a pain in the ass. But yeah, some of them will do, you know, it'll go, oh, it's the old school room where everything is just rendered as chunky pixels for the duration of a fight, or it'll go colorblind on you for the duration of one fight. Yeah, so I mean, like, some of those are quite clever. But I mean, you can see just in the monster design, I mean, these are very sort of, you know, throwbacks to sprite-based FPSs, things like Doom or Hexen or things like that in the level design. I presume they're all 3D objects, but I mean, they look like sprites, just in the way they move. Oh, there you go. Okay, so that's the key, boss key there. Hop and jump and get that. Jolly good. And there isn't, to the best of my knowledge, there isn't like the sort of double jumps and triple jumps and sort of interesting ways of getting around that that Tower of Guns has, mainly because there's no real verticality to the rooms. There's a little bit of up down to them, but it's not, you're not going through crazy spaces with jump pads or things like that. Okay, so let's blast that thing. Gonna cover a bit of mana there. Lots of circle strafing. Seems to be the way to go. This one. The problem with a lot of the bosses is that they'll start spawning other enemies to join in on the fun, so to speak, and that can get a little bit annoying because they do bar your progress somewhat. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, it's wholly inoffensive, and I think I would have liked this more if it had come out. If I'd played this before I played Tower of Guns earlier on, and Tower of Guns was just quite a really pleasant surprise for me. So yeah, it's a little bit of a shame. I'm not doing anything. It's flashing yellow, which is indicating I'm just my attacks are bouncing up. Yeah, so I need to be killing these things. Okay. And some of the bosses are evidently a little bit clever. Okay, so now if the things open up. Yeah, to be honest, a lot of the bosses are just shoot it until it's dead. This sounds kind of really interesting. There you go, eat that. But I didn't realise it was more of an interesting one itself. I've done it. So there is it's a fairly small pool of bosses, but you know, at least I haven't seen this one before, so you know, there is room to surprise you. Then again, this is the 10th time I've played the game, so I think there is a fair bit of repetition of these things, which might disappoint you. I've watched Plant Thing never explodes is its weak point. Come on. There we go. Now we're doing that. Yeah, and there's some things I think I might die here. It's quite possible we won't see much beyond here, but there's sort of extra rooms, different things. Apart from just, yeah, as I mentioned, treasure rooms, which we already saw, there's an opportunity that you might get kind of sort of tricked or sabotaged or ambushed in. There's also like trap rooms, which will just be like really difficult sort of first-person platforming challenges, although the first-person platforming really isn't that bad. And I'm in big trouble. It's like if he exposes himself, Lady Audrey, if she exposes herself to then it's really not a problem, but I'm not taking, it's not like I'm taking a world of hurt here, but crap. Another thing, you hit kind of triangle to switch weapons, but they don't cycle, they just, they swap between, I think, the two most recently used weapons, which is annoying. What you actually have to use is the D-pad as hotkeys to switch between. It's a little bit awkward. I guess they're trying to get you to go for mouse and keyboard, where you can use 1 to 4 as hotkeys and switch between them. So they really go into that old school PC shooter feel. Hey, I'm gonna die. I shouldn't be distracted by these little minions. I should just be circumstrating and waiting, I think. I reckon. The question is if she only exposes herself when you've killed enough of the minions, which I thought was the case, but yeah, I'm dead. So there you go, I didn't get to the end this time, even playing on easy. This game over screen looks rubbish. Look at that. It's really sort of low poly models. But yeah, it's likable in its own little way. It is purely that yeah, you can get tower guns for free, and that's arguably slightly better. So it's just, it's really, you get a few extra little things. There you go. It's really purely whichever game you played first, that's the one you're gonna like. Yeah, but you know, there you go. It's a fairly cheap little game. Is Ziggurat. And it's likable. It just, yeah, it does very little. I mean, you've already seen right there basically the essence of the entire game. You know, repeat for sort of twice as long, and you'll get to the end if you're playing on easy, or you'll die over and over again if you're playing on hard. And as I said, you'll get through, you know, I've killed 10 shamans there. You get that character for finishing it, for beating the game. Do more damage, oh, killing certain enemies rather. 873 or 5,000, wow, that's a lot of enemies. So if you really love the game, you'll unlock all of these characters. But I mean, it is just, you know, the emphasis is on die and repeat, and the kind of environments that you're in are a little bit too repetitive to make that really enjoyable. So yeah, kind of unfortunate timing affecting Ziggurat on PS4. It's not a terrible game, it's just not something to really write home about. So that's Ziggurat on PS4 as well as PC and Xbox One. Chris Chan for KaijuPop.com. Thanks for watching. Bye.